Hi class, this is Brother Richmond. I am putting this out there as a preview video for week 1. This is sort of both a preview video and an introduction to class. Now, I will do a preview video pretty much every week for the entire semester, and these will be required viewing. Some students complain that they're too long for required viewing. I try to keep them under 10 or 15 minutes at the max. This one's going to be a little bit longer because there's a little bit more information, but it's really my only opportunity to convey information to you, and I don't want to type a 12-page email that none of you will read anyway. So here we go. So this is Math 221B, Biostatistics. It's Biostatistics. A lot of you are in health sciences, and this is a required course for you. But make no mistake, this is 1% bio and 99% statistics. This is a math class. And it's a 200 level college math class. It's a little bit hard. So fair warning to you, I guess, is a good way to put it. If you're pretty used to sleepwalking through all your classes and getting A's all the time, this might be a little bit of a new experience for you. Most people who do well in this class do so because they put some time and effort into it, and they make it worth their while. I have students that don't put their time and effort into it and get really frustrated with me mostly because they want to get. And well, I'm just telling you right now up front, this is not one of those classes where all you got to do is show up. Okay, a couple other things I want to talk about, and I know I'm sounding really pessimistic right from the start, and that's not my intention, but I want you guys to have all the information that you need to have in order to be successful in this class. This is an online class. This is not an independent study class. And in my mind, here's what the difference is between those two. An independent study class is where you register for a class and they say, okay, you've got a year to complete it. And maybe you work really hard for 7 weeks and get it 80% done. And then you take a 3-month vacation or go do something else or whatever. You come back, you work on it a little more, you review, you study, you pass the test, boom, you're done. That's an independent study class. That is not what we're doing here. This is an online class. What this means is there are expectations of things you need to do every week, and you should treat this as though you would treat an instructor-led class in a classroom. And that is, you should schedule a time for yourself to work on it a little bit every day, and at least a couple times a week you're going to have to schedule a group meeting. I'll talk more about that in just a minute. You need to, if you've already got plans that in first part of February you're going on a 10-day cruise to wherever, this is probably not the right time to be taking this class, because I won't have a ton of sympathy for you when you come to me and say, well, I already have this plan. Well, if you got this plan, then you probably shouldn't have planned on taking classes this semester, because this is not independent study. This would be just like missing class for 2 weeks and missing all that information if you were in a regular class. So anyway, I just want you to think about what that is. Group work is required in this class. I know you hate doing group work. I get it. I did too when I was in college. But let me tell you something. So got put into groups in college all the time, had to do group work, and I hated it, didn't like doing it, didn't think it was right that the teacher was making us do that. Then I graduated and I went to work, and guess what I did? Group work all the time. Projects where I was working in groups, sometimes with people you don't like very much, sometimes work with. College is a relatively benign environment in which you can experiment with working in groups and learning how to get along with people that you might not otherwise be friends with, things like that. So that's a part of it. The other part of it is part of the model of learning at BYU Idaho is that this is a learn from and teach each other type of an environment. That's part of the school's mission, if you will. Okay. And if you're just completely opposed to that sort of mission, if you're thinking, well, that shouldn't be how it is, I should be able to go to a class and have a teacher teach me, I shouldn't have to work with other students, that's fine. You can feel that way, but maybe BYU Idaho isn't the right place for you to be going to school. Anyway, so the group work is required. I would say probably fully half of my students at the end of the semester are very, very grateful they had a group to work with, because it gives you somebody to bounce ideas and questions and understandings off of, and it really is very helpful. Doing group work doesn't mean I'm totally hands off and I'm never going to talk to you again and never going to help you at all. means exactly the opposite of that. When your group is struggling and you need some help with something, let me know. If you happen to be in the middle of a group meeting and you've got a concept you've hit upon that you're like, we're not really sure we understand this and we've discussed it, text me. I might be available just to jump into your group meeting for a few minutes and talk with you about it and discuss things with you. So anyway, I know you don't want to do group work, but it's required. So, and no, the groups of one are not allowed. So another thing I want to talk about is who shouldn't be taking this class. I hesitate to do this a little bit because I think it scares a lot of students off, and that's not my intention here, but I do want you to come into this class with your eyes fully wide open about what's going on. This class requires a bit of work. It's I think it's 3 credit hours. When I was in college, the conventional wisdom was that for every hour you're in class, or every credit hour your class is, you should plan to spend 3 or so hours outside of class working on the class. So if this is a 3-hour class, we don't have a classroom where we go for 3 hours, but that would be 3 hours in the classroom, aka group meetings and whatnot, and then an extra probably another 9 hours or so outside of that. So this is, if you want to be successful in this class, unless you're just a prodigy or something, this is a pretty much a 9 to 12 hour a week class. Sorry. Shut up. Every semester my daughter does that. Anyway, that's my daughter from North Carolina. What was I talking about? She made me lose my train of thought. Oh, 12 hours a week. If you're not prepared to put in 12 hours a week into this class, it's your choice, but your grade is very likely going to suffer because of it. If that's okay with you, then so be it. That's fine. But please, please don't come to me 8 weeks from now and say, well, I only had 5 hours a week to work on this class and I'm getting a really bad grade. And is there any way I can do extra credit and make the stuff up? Well, extra credit's not allowed by the department, so I can't give you extra credit. So, think about it. If you've got a brand new calling and you have 2 kids at home and you just had a 3rd baby and you're working part-time and you're the Relief Society president in your ward and your husband's working 2 jobs and this and that, sometimes it's not the right time to be taking a class like this. So you should really think about whether you have the availability to commit to it. Now, for the most part, we are raised, our culture is such that, oh, I'm super mom, I'm super dad, I can do everything. I can get it all done. It's sometimes a little bit of an ineffective way to live our lives. So I'm not trying to scare anybody away from taking this class, but I am trying to make sure you understand what this class entails and what will be expected of you, and that your reward or your grade will match the effort that you're able to put into the class. All right, so let's talk about a couple other things. Anyway, having said all that, my purpose in this class is to help you. If you want to learn stuff, I am here to help you learn it. If you'll put in the effort, I will make sure your effort is rewarded by helping you with as much as you need. All right. There's a group project at the end of the semester. It's spread out over about the last 5 weeks of this semester. Again, it's required. It will be 10% of the final grade. And it's a research project. Now, it's not a, go solve world hunger type research project. It's the more important part of the project is that you're learning the steps of the scientific method. It really doesn't matter what your project is about. But as we go along, we're thinking about sorts of things that kind of interest you that you might want to do a project on. I will guide you as to whether you are doing something that is too big or too small. We'll get it settled and do the right thing. It's a group project. Everybody in the group's expected to work on it. Let me tell you a little bit about SPSS. There are no textbooks required for this class. The text is completely online. All your materials are online. However, we will be using a statistical software package called SPSS. You can go about this 2 different ways. You can either load some software onto your PC, and that will give you a VPN. VPN stands for virtual something or another network. I can't remember what the P stands for. Anyway, basically what it does is it turns your PC into a terminal for the servers that are on campus in Rexburg. So that's free. The software to load down is free. That's the good news. The bad news is you're using servers on campus, so if campus servers ever go down, you don't have access to SPSS. Or if a lot of people are hitting the server, you might be slow, or might be other other problems associated with that. So that's option number one. Option number two is to actually purchase a license from IBM. It's a 6-month license, and last semester I think it was $43.95 or $44.95. It was $45 basically. I think the price is about the same, but I really don't know. That gives you a license to load the software down onto your PC, so it's much quicker, much easier to use. Just so you know, in past semesters, I've always purchased the license. However, I should say in past years, I've always purchased the license. However, last semester, in fall of 2016, I actually decided that in order to understand the problems people were telling me about with the VPN stuff, I just used the VPN style, and it worked just fine. Previously, I had recommended that students, you know, you're not spending money on textbooks or whatever, so you might as well go and spend a few bucks on a license. But I think it's really kind of up to you. Certainly the license is a more reliable, faster access type of an approach, but the VPN, in my opinion, works pretty well. Okay, so here are the things you need to do for this week, being the first week of January. There are 4 graded things, and then there's a 5th item, which is something you need to go do. Okay, the 4 graded things. One of them is an introduction video. Now, when you do the introduction video, let me see if I can share my screen here for a minute. Okay, let me pop over here. Let's see. So if I come into my class, this is our class 221B09. If I come into the discussion tab here, you'll notice there are a couple of different threads that have already been started. One is questions and conversations. People have already been posting stuff on here, and I've been putting some answers on there. Then under week 1, it'll say Google activity. You can see that there are 16 posts on here already. So some of you have already successfully posted an introduction video on here. I haven't looked at these yet, but this is a 10-point assignment. It's pass-fail. Needs to be posted on here in order to get credit. You will do this through a thing called YouTube Live. If you're familiar with how to do it, that's great. If you're not familiar with how to do it, the approach you should always take when you don't know how to do something is Google it and see if there's something on Google that can help you figure out how to do it. Anyway, just a couple things about posting that intro video. Please, when you set that up, when you record the video, make it so that it's accessible by everybody. Lots of times people will create a video and then they'll set some privacy settings, and so they've got the video, but I can't see it, so I don't know what it looks like. It only has to be a minute or 2 long. Just tell us who you are, a little bit about yourself. Don't give us any private information you wouldn't want the whole world to know, and just post it out there. Okay, so that's item number 1. Item number 2 is there's a lesson 1 homework quiz that is due by the end of the day on Saturday. So the intro video is due by the end of the day on Saturday. Lesson 1 homework quiz is due by the end of the day on Saturday. And then there are 2 surveys. One is called the knowledge survey, and one is called the course survey. Now the knowledge survey and course survey are relatively new, haven't been doing them for very long. Course survey is just questions about why you're taking this class, so we can get a feel for what students are in here. The knowledge survey is about 20, 25 questions about a bunch of stuff this class covers. So you haven't taken the class yet, so you might not understand all the things that class covers. So if for all 23 questions your answer is, I have no idea what this is even talking about, don't worry about it. These are not graded as to what you put. They're just graded as to whether you did them or not. So those are the 4 graded items that are all due Saturday by 11 p.m. The 5th item that I want you to do, and let me, I will mail you a link for this, along with, or I'll post it in the announcements is probably what I'll do. But I'll send you a link so that you can go and find it. It's a link to my my Google Drive, and it is called, so it's a document that is called Winter 2017 Math 221B Group Sign Up and Contact Info. So this is where you need to sign up for your groups. Everybody needs to sign up for a group. And if by the end of the week I can see that there are people in groups by themselves, or maybe a couple of different groups with just 2 people, I might ask those guys to get together. Anyway, here's the sign up here. It's just a spreadsheet. Just come in here and find a group that works for you. You'll notice that if you scroll down here, there are about 16 total groups for which you can sign up. And I've roughly in blue, like group 1 says mornings only 6 to 11:30 a.m. Mountain Time. And there's group 1 and 2 that are kind of like that. Most college students aren't early morning people, even though most of you are, older adult learners here. Group 3, 4, 5, let's see, 3, 4 are early afternoons. Anyway, I don't have to read these all to you. You can read them yourselves. Look for a time that seems to work pretty well for you. Now, maybe you're thinking, well, great, I can do early mornings, but I can only do Tuesday and Friday. I can't do Tuesday and Thursday. The important part is that you sign up for a group, and that as soon as possible, you try to make contact with those other members of your group and sort of rough out a general idea of when you're going to meet on a weekly basis. The expectation is that you're going to meet twice a week, because there will be 2 lessons due each week. Somebody asks me all the time, hey, do they have to be on Tuesday and Thursday? Because the curriculum kind of implies that they do, but they don't. You can, I've had groups do it Monday and Tuesday. I've had groups do it Wednesday and Friday. I've had groups do it Wednesday and Saturday. But you need to meet twice a week. Plan on meeting twice a week. Some groups say, hey, can we just meet once for twice as long? Theoretically, yes. In practice, I don't know if that's ever really happened very well, because that's a lot of prep work to do for one meeting. But if that's what you guys all agree to do, that'll work out fine too. Okay, there's a second tab here that's called contact info. So if I pop over to that contact info, this is some information I need to know from you. I need to know your name as it's listed on the BYU Idaho records. Lots of times that name and the preferred name are different because you've gotten married or you just use a different name. So I need that name. I want your preferred name. I want your BYU Idaho email address. I want some other email address that you use. I want to know what time zone you're in. This is important. Please put a phone number here, because this helps me. Maybe once a semester I might need to text you because I need to get a hold of you rapidly. That allows me to do that. It also allows your other group members to go in here and be able to get a hold of you also. Nothing's more frustrating than having somebody send me an email, say, hey, I've tried for 3 days to get a hold of the other people in my group, and I just can't. Well, it has to be both directions. Both of you have to be trying, but there's a good resource of numbers here. You'll notice that the group sign up page also has phone and email. So please go ahead and put it both places just for making that easy. This is not a graded assignment, but I do need this information, so please fill that in. All right. What else do I want to tell you about? I want to tell you a little bit about, I've told you what this week looks like, but I want to tell you what the typical week looks like, starting next week, for instance. Group work will start next week. Next week, we'll be covering lessons 2 and 3. So here's kind of this vision of how you should do this. Let's just suppose, for the sake of argument, that your group is going to meet in the afternoons at 4 p.m. You're going to meet once on Tuesday and once on Friday. So before next Tuesday, you've looked at lesson 2. You've read the online text. You have done the prep assignment. Prep assignment is not graded. The answer key is provided to you, so you can do a self-check. So don't turn it into me. I don't want to see it. I don't care. You should, think about any questions you have, things that you can't understand, and then you should even open the group quiz and fill in as many of those answers as you can get. Don't submit it, because then when your group meeting comes along at 4 p.m. on Tuesday, you'll get together, you'll all introduce yourselves to each other, you spend a few minutes. Ideally, here's what the group meeting looks like. Spend a few minutes going around the room and say, hey, does anybody have any questions on any of the content they didn't understand? In these first couple lessons, people are going to say, nope, didn't have any questions. Okay, so we've got 4 people in here. There's Mike and Teresa and Bill and Cheryl. So I'll do question number 3, because questions 1 and 2 are always things like, did you participate? Did you prepare? So I'll do question number 3. I got 7. Everybody else says, yep, we got that. And so Cheryl does question number 4, and she says it's option B. And 2 of you say, yep, I got that. And I say, oh, no, I got C. So we got to talk about it for a second, see if we can figure out what the right answer is. You do it all together. You fill in the quiz all together. You each have to fill in your own copy. And then after you're all done, you can all submit the quiz, and you get your feedback score right away. Now, that is the homework, or I'm sorry, that's the group quiz for lesson 2. There's also a homework quiz for lesson 2. The group quiz, you're supposed to collaborate with your group even when you're filling out the answers to the quiz. The homework quiz, on the other hand, you're supposed to do completely by yourself. You're not supposed to get help from anybody. You can use the online text and the materials you've looked at and stuff you've written down and things like that. You shouldn't be collaborating with anybody at all on the homework quiz. Both of those quizzes will be due on Saturday at late, like 11 p.m. or 11:30 p.m. or something like that. Excuse me. And then you do the same thing over again for lesson 3. You prepare for the group meeting, you have the group meeting, you do the group quiz, you do the homework assignment if you want. Again, I don't care about homework assignments because those don't get turned into me. So you do them if they're helpful to you, but don't waste your time doing them if they're not proving to be helpful to you. Then you do the homework quiz and you turn that in. So typical week, we'll have 2 lessons, 4 quizzes, 2 of them will be group quizzes, 2 of them will be homework quizzes. Then starting with lesson 4, you'll actually get 2 more graded items each week, and that'll just be whether or not you participated in your group meeting. It's a pass-fail. Now, all quizzes, you have 2 opportunities to complete them. So the way to do it is do the first pass early in the week. So like right after you're done with lesson 2 next week, you've already turned in your group quiz. You might as well do your homework quiz right then. Get 100% on both of them, boom, you're done. You don't have to worry about it the whole rest of the week. If you only got 80% on maybe your homework quiz, that's when you can either, I'm not sure if you have visibility to exactly which questions you missed after the first attempt. I think probably likely that you don't, because that would be kind of silly. We're just giving the answers then. But you can always call me or text me or email me and say, hey, can you tell me, I missed 2 questions on homework quiz lesson 2. Can you please tell me what they are and help me with them? And I'm more than happy to help you do that. The quizzes are designed in this class that if you get to the end of the class and don't have pretty much 100% or very close to 100% on your quizzes, you probably have left some points on the table, because the tests do not have a second attempt, do not have any makeup, and do not have any extra credit attached to them. And I don't think they're particularly that much harder than the group quizzes and the homework quizzes, but most of my students say yes, they are harder. So you might not get great scores on your tests like you want to get all the time. It sure helps to have group quizzes and homework quizzes at almost 100% to bring your grade up a little bit. Overall in this class, the tests are worth 60% of the grade. The group quizzes are worth 10% of your grade. Homework quizzes are worth 20% of your grade. And the group project at the end of the semester is also worth 10% of your grade. Okay, that's kind of an overload of information. So I probably will stop right now. If you have questions, it's a good place to post them on the discussion board, because there's a good chance somebody else might have the same question you have. And I will look at that several times a day over the first couple of weeks and respond to those. If you have questions of a personal nature that you don't want to post on the discussion board, that's fine. Just email me and we'll get that taken care of. All right, hoping we're going to have a great semester this week. Please, please, please do not hesitate to get in touch with me. You are not a nuisance. You are not a bother to me. You don't have stupid questions. You're just trying to learn this stuff. I'm the content expert. Why wouldn't you contact me? That makes sense, right? I'm the guy that knows it. If you don't know it, contact me. I'll help you understand it. That's what I'm getting paid to do. Okay, last but not least, I usually start off real good with this stuff at the beginning of the semester, but I kind of get slacker as the semester goes on. BYU Idaho is a church school. So in theory, we all have similar feelings about God and about Jesus and about different things that they expect us to do and want us to do. So let me tell you right now that the foundation of everything I do in my life is the gospel of Jesus Christ. It's important to me, and I think it helps me to be a better person. It helps me to know to treat people kindly and to try to do my best to serve others and do what I can to just show love to other people. So that's important to me. I want you all to know that. And I do believe the gospel is true. I've been actively participating for, well, I guess 50 years now, if you count when I was a little kid and didn't really understand anything. But there's not a day or a week or a month that goes by that I ever feel like it's not worth the time. And it's pretty much at the core and center of everything I do. So just want you to know that that is my testimony. I'll leave that with you in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. All right. Have a great week. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, needs, things you don't understand, whatever you need help with, just let me know. I'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.